so it's so interesting because we talked about it at the beginning of the show, was that like I built a bit of an audience in a business speaking as a Protestant. I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to start talking about Catholicism. I feel like I have no choice and it's going to go backwards, but that's whatever. And then instead it went the other direction. And I don't know if that guy's me, but I want to help as many of these guys as possible. I just think talking to them and about this stuff is important. And I think what you were getting at there is incredibly important, because you have like influencer culture and you get this area of like disaffected men that feels like nobody's shining a light on them. And many of them are fatherless.
Yeah, I think
like I was fatherless. And so
yeah.
like there's that wound that only Christ has healed, but you carry the temporal scars with you your whole life.
I think we have to really consider like mentoring, like especially us older guys, Mike, that are like in it and like we are doing it. Like we need to mentor the younger guys somehow. And it's like that goes into, look, Lila and Religious Hippie are taking those young creators and elevating them. So like as our platforms grow, we have to find the guys we want to elevate. Like you really do. You have to find the guys you want to mentor and bring up into this thing. I told Thursday, like, I know what it's like to have to pull a living in this world and support a family. Like once he gets himself settled and figures out what he's going to do, if there's anything we can do to help him, we're going to help him. Like I want to help the guys I care about. Like it's just same thing with Nick. That's always on our show. Like I love Nick. Like I care about him now. So it's like I see him as a younger brother. I want to do what I can to help him. All these younger guys that I'm meeting, like I know I was fortunate in that I got a job handed to me. I didn't have to worry too much. I was able to drop out of high school and go and work construction and get a good job to provide for a family. It's not that easy for a lot of guys. But if there's anything I can do to help anybody, I want to try.
I think it's important that we do. We do talk about that, and we like we have families like men aspire to have, and we talk about these issues that all these men are sort of suffering with alone. Pornography. Being alone in general. Period. Not having a peer group. I remember speaking at the TLM parish we have here. It's an FSSP parish, and talking to a lot of these guys, and trying to inspire them to do things that are physically arduous. Because I saw in this TLM community that you had these amazing, holy, pious men, but physically they're not inspiring anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you gotta do something, man. Like you've got all this brain, this soul within you, but like reflect that on the outward too. And some of these guys, like they've never had that conversation, and nobody's really spoken to them about that type of thing. They didn't have a dad that spoke to them about this type of thing. And so they're in their sort of like little hole, and they become these little Thomists, which is amazing because they're way smarter than I could ever be, way holier than I could probably ever be. And this conversation, it's important. That's why I sound like such a meathead. And this is why sometimes I refrain from posting. Honestly, I'm like, I'll go on breaks on Twitter or on Instagram. I'm like, man, what the hell am I even saying? And then I hear stuff like this from Thursday and all the comments. I'm like, that's wild. I can't believe
Dude,
this like lowbrow.
We may have a smaller audience, but I think it'll have more of an effect. Like I'm trying to convince my 19-year-old son to do a show with me on Saturdays because, dude, my 19-year-old son is jacked. He's like the kids at the gym 6 days a week. My son looks like a man at 19. You know what I mean? Like he's not, he's got a little more reading to do, and he's got to, he's got to get more familiar with the topics we'll be discussing. But I'm trying to get him to do like a Saturday show with me and maybe start a separate channel with him and just see if because him too. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get this kid. Like he's got to support a family one day, man. I got to figure something out with him to try and get him get his feet on the ground.
That's a really great thing, and like. Yeah, that's a great thing. I'm glad you're doing that. I don't know why, but I want to say that I'm glad you're doing that because that's awesome. Because one of the things like I told my girl that like, hey, I know the thing I do, the trade I practice isn't physical, but I have every right to and every desire to one day pass it on to my sons.
Yeah.
Because she was asking me about like we were having a conversation about like when do kids get technology? And I was like, well, it's going to be different in my case because when they're going to get personal technology, probably later than most kids. When they're going to get like general access and learn technical literacy, way earlier probably.
So Rob, do you remember when we were talking about like me not wanting my son to do construction?
Yeah.
Because I said like I don't want my son because the commute that I have to do just eats the life out of me. But this thing, I feel like I could help him do something with. Like I kind of know this arena now, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Catholic content. That's not what I mean. I just mean like even being like a social media manager or something, or just like I think I can help him get his feet on the ground with something. He's actually like, Dad, I want to help you set up a good studio, and like we're gonna figure some stuff out.
Please,
Yeah.
Nick, take care of his microphone.
You'll have a little assistance, Rob.
Take care of his camera, Nick, please.
Rob, you got a blue light in the background that flares out your camera. You're not allowed to talk about camera and studio stuff.
Well, I just want to throw this idea out there real quick, because my best friend John, who he's an Irish from Boston, devout Catholic. We were talking about this idea of, I don't know how, having some kind of like a retreat center or place where we could run these I don't know, conferences or get-togethers multiple times a year, where we bring priests, we bring seminarians in, and we're sitting there and learning about the faith and going to mass and receiving the Eucharist, but also doing physically hard things together at the same time, and doing it like over 3 or 4 or 5 days.
How far are you from Banff National Park?
I'm like 4 hours north.
Dude, I'm going there next year. I don't care. I saw that place that
Dude,
we're meeting up.
Banff, all you have to do is tell me, bro.
We're meeting up and we're doing like something there, but that's like I have other friends that are out in that area too that I want to go and visit, and my friend Bobby's gonna come with me. We're gonna figure Rob's coming. We're gonna figure something out.
Oh, if you guys come out this way, and I mean you too Thursday, you guys are welcome, man. We'll do it up out here. It's beautiful, man. Banff and Jasper out there, it's gorgeous. We'll do it. I'm just throwing that idea out there, guys, in case we ever did something like this in the future. I think it's needed. These young dudes need it.